Joining us now from Bedford, Virginia is Sandra Adams. She is the author of a book, Government Servant or Master, Exposing America's Runaway Bureaucracy and Abuse of Its Citizens. Okay, that book just came out, brand new book. And if you're really interested in this, you need to get it. Now, Ms. Adams has a very interesting background. She is a nurse for 30 years, but then went into government and worked for Congressman Bob Good of Virginia as a district director. So she's in there, I think, 4 years, Ms. Adams. Is that correct? Did you work for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you went from nursing into government. That's pretty interesting. Now, when you went into government, I mean, you're working for a Republican, but did you have any preconceived notions of the Washington, D.C. bureaucracy?
I had some preconceived notions, but I was not to the scale that I found out once I got in government. To be honest with you, I lived overseas in Ukraine for 8 years and experienced the kind of government control that, was shocking to me as an American. And when we came back in 2000, I began to promote conservative constitutional people to get into office. That's really kind of where I got involved in politics, but very minimally. When I came 4 years ago into this office and started helping the people of our district, I began to realize we were fighting a tyrannical government. It was just unbelievable to me how much control the federal agencies had. And on a daily basis, we would be dealing with anywhere from 50 to 90 agencies. And so it's not just the USAID that is corrupt. There are many other agencies. I would say almost there's some corruption in every agency. And so I got really upset and I started doing my own research saying, how in the world did they get this much power over us? And of course, it led me to the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and why we fled and where did they get their permission? And I found out that it was in 1946 that Congress passed the Administration Procedures Act that started this ball rolling. And it's been like a snowball effect from that time to today. And I do share about that in my book in chapter 3, when I talk about how we got from 1776 to 2024.
Okay.
It's not so.
When you use the word corruption, what are we talking about here? What's corruption?
Corruption is, for example, I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman, one of my first cases, he received a letter from the Department of Labor that told him that he owed $48,000 and he had 30 days to pay it. And he said, they said in the letter that we know that you could not possibly have known about the mistake that was made, but the law says it has to be paid back and you're going to pay it. Well, he tried for 2 weeks on his own to appeal to the number and the phone number and the email. And then nobody responded. So he got a lawyer. Nobody responded then. But on the 31st day, they said, hey, we didn't hear from you. You didn't appeal. You have 30 days to pay and penalties and interest are in play. That was just one of many cases. And
what happened to that guy? Did he finally get justice or no?
No, he did not. Two appeals were failed. We got involved and contacted the Department of Labor. And then when those two appeals failed, I finally called and said, I want to talk to somebody in charge. And she talked to me and said, Sandy, it's just the law. It's the law. I said, it's the law that he has to pay for a mistake your agency made. And it was in the middle of COVID. This guy was going through, his wife had passed away.
Okay, but what happened to the guy? What happened?
Well, the penalties and interest kicked in. I finally talked her into cutting $15,000 from that, because they have the ability to do that from this act that was passed.
All right, so you got him back some money and he had to pay some money, right?
Yes, but by the time the penalties and interest had been taken place, I talked to him a few weeks ago and he said that he is now $800 is being taken from his Social Security account every month, and he owes $58,000. Yeah.
Now, as you just heard, I believe that the Democratic Party and the liberal progressive movement, wants this kind of chaos. They don't want accountability for the tax dollars, where the tax dollars go, because most Americans don't know where they go. How could they possibly know? Mm-hmm. They can't. It's too much money. All right? Because most of it goes to progressive causes. So why wouldn't the Democrats and liberals want the chaos to continue? Am I wrong there?
No, I believe you're correct.
All right, let's stop.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the motivation. So the Democratic Party wants this out of control spending because it benefits them. It benefits their programs, their vision all over the world. There doesn't seem to be any kind of counter. Now, I know each agency has an inspector general. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And that person is supposed to be responsible for seeing that our tax dollars are spent responsibly. Is that happening?
No, it is not happening. And unfortunately, even the Republicans, while we have a lot of good, members of Congress that are Republican, and even Democrats, probably there are a few, but they are not holding any of these agencies accountable. And the agencies are so vast now. When I did my research, I found 473 plus all of their subcommittees, their sub-agencies, and their boards. And Congress cannot possibly oversee these thousands
No,
of entities.
they can't. So the departments have gotten so crazy that nobody knows where the money's going, and a few bureaucrats in positions of power inside those agencies just funnel it out. Now, Trump says that he's going to go after the Department of Education. You're going to find unbelievable amounts of waste there. Unbelievable. And the Department of Defense, which is probably the biggest one. Now, those are not, the Department of Education is liberal, but the Department of Defense usually hasn't been, historically speaking. What do you think about those two agencies?
Well, I think those two agencies have also been subject to these social agendas and so of the left and have been taken hostage by that. And I think the government has taken a lot more control where the states should have been involved in the education. As far as the Department of Defense is these contractors, while a lot of people have great jobs with them, these contracting positions, I could tell you stories that would curl your hair.
No, I understand. So I think that Trump is doing the right thing. Last question. Is a polarizing guy like Elon Musk the right crusader?
Well, I think you're going to have somebody bold. Just like in 1776, our founders were bold. They went up against the largest
for
power.
Sure. Right.
And I believe it's going to take someone like Trump, who is not afraid. He has nothing to lose. He's not getting a penny from our government. He has lost so much as far as being fought against. Elon Musk, you have to have somebody who's smart enough to get to the bottom of it. And I spoke to somebody this week who is actually working with Doge. And there were some young men who come in there. They're coders. They know how to find and follow the dollar and follow the trail.
Let's hope.
Yep.
Because we need it. This is really out of control. So the book is Government Servant or Master by Sandra Adams. And we appreciate it, Ms. Adams. Very nice of you to help us out today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.